All right, we've got our flip through of our fall and Thanksgiving placemat junk journal that some of you helped me make recently by watching my videos. And I'm going to flip through real quick before I put it up on my Etsy shop, which is Lizzie Papery.etsy.com. Dizzy is spelled D-I-Z-Z-I-E. Lizzie is with an I-E, and Papery is with an I-E. On my Etsy shop, I like to sell my handmade journals, but also other curated books and journals and maybe desk items that we might have around for junk journaling and storage. And then I also sell curated ephemera, mostly vintage and antique, that I find, obviously, curate. Anyway, here we go. So we did this. I cut a placemat in half to make this cover. And sewed this kind of hem on the end. Have this pocket on the inside here with some ephemera. This is a great recipe and article from 1976, I think. I don't want to give everything away for the new owner. Everything in my junk journals is upcycled, found, or created, thrifted, recycled, all of that good stuff. This was scrap of paper that I found at the outlet bins near us, a thrift store. Also found these great 1939 Monopoly chance cards. One of those in this book. And I can add more if you want, or I can take the ephemera out so that you can completely fill it with your own, whatever you like. Some old music sheets, early 1900s. This was a cool old Good Housekeeping magazine. It's an old children's novel. This was a Lee Ward's catalog, which I think is so cool. And let me see if I can remember the date. I know I have it somewhere, so if you are interested in this book, let me know and I will have the date for you. I should have looked that up before I did this video, but Lee Ward's was, gosh, I think the leading seller of sewing notions and patterns and linens and everything at the time. Oh, I can't find the date. I will find it for you. This was a 1930s children's book about inventions, American inventions. This isn't the greatest illustration here, but there's another part of this page that I'll show you. And this book was, I found it, it was at an antique store, but falling apart. The binding was kind of taped together, but still falling apart. Pages were falling apart. But in the other part of this book, you'll see what's really cool about this illustration. This is just a piece of graph paper, but I fussy cut out an illustration from another children's book from the 50s, I think. It was the 50s. Just some more writing paper. There's lots of space in these on which to write, but then one of the fun things about junk journals, too, is creating your own space to write by maybe collaging over some of the pages that are in here if they're not interesting. This is actually a secret hiding spot in here. I was going for a fall theme. This is from a... Oh man, I feel so unprepared, but from a My Book House series book. The illustrations are just so cool. The color is nostalgic. Oh my goodness, this little book is so sweet. Let's see. I found it at Thrift Books, I think, and some of the pages were already coming out, which made me feel better about taking it apart. But it was a Hallmark book called Counting Your Blessings, a little book about the joys of life by Edward Cunningham. And it is from 1971. The illustrations are so cute. I learned about it from, oh boy, Willowbound Journals. I think that's her name, Junie Desiree. She had found one on one of her hauls, and I just had to have it, so I went hunting. It's so cute. But so the owner of this book could, you know, they could shade this in or color it or sketch it onto tracing paper or write around it or even tear it out and send it as a card to someone if they wanted. One of the great things about junk journals. This is, I want to say, just a piece of scrap paper, but it is not. It is antique. It is from an antique scrapbook that I invested in from an estate sale. And I love it because it's thick and fibrous, and the color is just perfect. I think this little ad was also from that Lee Ward's magazine, I think, where you, I don't know why, I thought these were so cool. They just brought back my childhood when you used to actually fill these out and send them in to get your, whatever they were offering at the time. So I think this was the 70s, the 60s or the 70s was this book. Here's a antique music page again. Copyright 1907. Some blank spaces to write. This was tea-dyed paper. Just some craft paper from packaging. I love the crinkle. It's one of my favorite papers to write on, actually, with like a gel pen, because the gel kind of soaks in, and it's just, I'm not sure, the fibers or something. This is one side of this gorgeous children's illustration that I made the center of the book, this old golden book about horses. But I couldn't get the whole horse on this side, which is why I've started moving to a different method of bookmaking also. But we still get to save this glorious illustration here, and the colors were just perfect for fall and Thanksgiving. But I made this little pocket in the side here, and then have a little ephemera ticket that has some collage on the back. This was a freebie from Artsy Fartsy Paper online. She has tons of really cool graphically designed freebies that you can print, and then I just Mod Podge over the top of it to give it a little bit of a of a sheen. Well, this Mod Podge is a glossy Mod Podge, but you could use a matte Mod Podge so it isn't shiny. And then I Mod Podge my collage papers to the back, and then I cut them out, and they're nice and thick. There's that again, and then on the other side I did another little pocket, and here's an old playing card, and here was an old receipt. I don't remember where I found this. I think it fell out of a book that I found, but the date is December 16th, 1998, and this person was buying a doll. And then I loved that the doll was $20, but then they also bought a page for $165. And I'm not sure what that is. If any of you know what a page might be, like if they're related to a doll or something. I'm not sure what that is, but I thought that was really cool since I love paper. Someone spent $165 on one page. I find little hidden spots of humor. Some of that craft paper, that tea-dyed paper. This was another freebie from Artsy Fartsy, and again, I Mod Podged it to something, and then I put an old recipe in here that I also got from that estate sale. This one is for Hawaiian cream cake, which by the time I sell this, hopefully I'll find something that is more maybe Thanksgiving related, but Hawaiian cream cake might be good for Thanksgiving too. But I just love that it's on this old recipe card, and it has a little bit of old, foxing staining on it. And then of course it can be written on the back. Just kind of tucks in here. And this old music page, this one is 1915. Here's the other side of that Fabrizar oh, here we go, 1974. Now, I'm putting this in here for nostalgic purposes, but I'm pretty sure that if you were to send it in, if you were to tear it out and send it in, nothing would come of that. I mean, you could try. This was a children's illustration from a fall book that I just fussy cut out, that I liked, and then I just sewed around a little bit of a pattern so you can still tuck a little journal page in there to write something on or hide things in. Here is one of the color illustrations from that Counting Your Blessings book. Isn't that just... I mean, it reminds me of my childhood. I don't remember this book specifically, but the colors and the drawing are so pretty. It's just another book page, another book page. Oh, now this one, it has some Latin words on it and some not wonderful words about mushrooms. It's the other side of that mushroom page, but my background is in plants, and so I just loved that the purpurescence is what was highlighted here, and there is great fall grass that is called purpurescence, which is purple flame grass. It's called miscanthus purpurescence, but I just love this word. I always have loved it, and it does mean purple. Some more mushies, more craft paper, scrapbook paper that I got at a thrift store. Okay, this is an envelope that I actually taped in separately as like a tip-in, but it certainly can be used as an envelope just regularly. But I wrote on the front, antique ephemera, and I've chosen some antique ephemera to put in here. And I was debating whether or not to show it, because the person who buys this might want to be surprised, but I figured I would share because this might be the whole reason someone would want to buy this book. So this is an incredible photo from 1931, and it is of a young person in a football stance, which I thought was appropriate for fall. And then there's a horse in the background, and I love that the person who wrote, who's in the photo, actually wrote Colonel Horse and Bob, 1931. This was in an old picture book at one time, apparently, and had, come unstuck. I'm not sure what this means before, but I thought that was a cool fall photo to put in there. And then this is from a 1930s children's book about Thanksgiving. Mother, Father, Jack, and Molly were eating Thanksgiving dinner. And then this side is got some of our game birds on there. Big Turkey saw them coming. Here come the children, he said. They liked our Thanksgiving song very much. That was fun. It could be framed. It could be taped in as a tip-in if you want, or used in your own junk journal separately. Okay, I came across over the summer, my in-laws took me to a very special antique store in a small town in Ohio, and I found this collection of these old grocery receipts from Cardington, Ohio, 1907. Some of the receipts are from 06, some are from 07. Here's one from 06. 1906 and 1907, and I have more from 1908 if you would like more. I do sell these in packs of 10 on my Etsy shop. Again, that's Dizzy Lizzie Papery with IEs.etsy.com. But I love that this says staple and fancy groceries. C and P Farrington. And then, I'm not sure, I think it was the same store and maybe it changed names, but originally was Kirkpatrick and Roermond, staple and fancy groceries. And then, gosh, I just loved this, that, back then you'd have a house account at the store where it would be handwritten, and at the end of the month, the store would send you that bill. This one I thought was appropriate because it was placed on November 11th, 1907, and it looks like 15 pounds old roosters. I mean, is that possible? Old roosters is what it looks like to me. For 60 cents. Wouldn't that be amazing? And then this one is from December 12th, 1906. And 4.5 dozen eggs, 30 cents each for $1.35. It looks like this says 9 pounds of butter for $1.62. Isn't that amazing? Sugar, something. Coffee, 21 cents. Half a soda, probably baking soda, for 5 cents. Soup, it looks like. A jar for 10 cents. Ooh, boy, I don't know what that is. Matches? Matches for 5 cents. Amazing. I just think those are so cool, and I love this kind of thing in these books. I have found that these can be Mod Podged. or any kind of decoupage glue. And they can be collaged onto another piece of paper to help them be sturdy, or of course they can be taped. But I wanted to leave them free for the owner to use as they like. And because I've shown this on this video, I will add another one to this book, a third one that they can be surprised by. And then this gorgeous antique Happy Thanksgiving postcard. It says Thanksgiving greetings. You can kind of see in this gold, oh gosh, I don't know what you call that. I learned it once, but I forget. I think that's so beautiful. And then it is from 1908. It says here 1908. It is a gorgeous 1-cent stamp. Looks like it came from Los Angeles, California, and it went to Miss Jessie Mills. I'm not sure what that says, but Wisconsin. Minocqua, maybe? Anyway, there's a nice note here also. And I think that is so just absolutely precious. So that is the antique ephemera that I include in this one. Again, if you're interested in this book and you would like more from my collection, let me know and I will include it. Oops, I'll fix that at the end. Some more journaling paper. This is actually a wall transfer. These were vintage. I think the 80s, the 70s or the 80s. I've not tried to use it as a stick, like I've not tried to peel this off, but you can. But I have used them as stickers before, and they're quite nice. They're kind of like a die cut, but a little more pliable. Certainly sturdy and kind of like waterproof. And then this is another illustration from a 1950s children's book. I just tucked this in there. I just thought the colors were very fall. Okay, so here's the other side of that American Inventors children's book. And this is actually a little cutout like stamp that a child put in the appropriate boxes. And I don't know why. I thought that was just a neat addition to the book and to the page. Here's more of our Lee Ward's gift catalog. Large dogs. Large dog kits. I accidentally ripped this corner off when I was putting it together because the page is a little bit brittle. But I fixed it, and then I put this vintage ribbon on the inside to make it a little stronger. And there is a little scrap of an old book that was about different types of fonts, like 24-point composition. And I thought that was neat. Here's another pocket I put in here with just a little bit. Here's some modern ephemera, just a die cut there. But more of the information about Lee Ward's, the Order Blank Art Needlework and Hobbycraft Center. That's what it was called. It was in Elgin, Illinois. I was actually born in a hospital in Elgin, Illinois. And this is not vintage fabric, but absolutely gorgeous. I just love this mustard color. And again, this paper was a little brittle, so I did tape it here but I think it's fine as it is now. I did a pocket on this side too because it kind of strengthened it, and put this little playing card in there. Book page that I had coffee dyed. This was the other side of that Good Housekeeping book page. Nothing exciting on it necessarily, I just love the color of it. And the title had said that, I think it's the Good Housekeeping Network teaches girls to crochet, and so I added a little bit of crochet as a tab there. And then on the back of this one was just this, it was a design of the Mexican grizzly bear. It's like a hook rug design that they were selling, and I put these vintage feed sack fabric pieces that I got at an estate sale. They had already been cut into these tiny pieces because it looks like they made doll quilts out of the feed sack fabric. I got lots of it in several different sizes, but I thought these were appropriate for this page, and they're so cool. I love this pattern. And so I'm guessing, 1930s is when the feed sack fabrics were happening. This was just a little Peter Rabbit book illustration. I thought it was appropriate for Thanksgiving because, I don't know about you, but I will probably be in an apron in the kitchen. Music paper. The other side of that. And then there's another pocket here, and then this vintage lacy piece that we put on here. And there is a hard piece of spine in there, but it's still flexible too, so it can squeeze and bend and be thrown around. It is just that one signature that I have bound in with waxed thread, and then this was actually the belt of a dress that had a great big rip in it. The dress did, but I loved this vintage fabric, so I kept a bunch of the fabric, and I kept this belt too as the tie. And again, here is the name of my business, Dizzy Lizzie Papery. You can find me on Etsy and Instagram. Thanks, you guys, for joining me tonight. Please have a wonderful evening. And if I'm not on here again before Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, anyone. I am thankful for all of you. Have a great night. Love you guys. Bye.